Okay. All right, folks, here we are. Sunday morning, 6 o'clock. We're ready to roll. We've got one delivery today. That's it. One delivery. Feeling pretty good. Got a lot of sleep last night. All good. Hope everybody is good. I see we got a couple people out there. All right, let's go. Let's go. Still a little chilly, but it's a balmy 9 degrees here. But we just have. It's not cloudy. I mean, it's just not. It's kind of hazy up there a little bit, but you can see the moon. Full moon. It is a full moon today, by the way. So yesterday was close. Today we got it. We got the whole full moon. See what we got. The road should be good. Tomorrow's the day we're going to break through. I feel it. We're going to get to freezing. Sunday. I like Sundays. They're quiet. Well, a little bit quiet. I'm quiet. Listen to my voice. I feel quiet this morning. I finished my book yesterday, Atomic Habits. So, I feel pretty good about that. Revisited that one. I think I read it. I don't know how long ago. It was quite a while ago. But I don't know if there's something out they're doing in the field. There was something out in the field. Headlights on. One thing at the end of that book that I don't know whether I got this idea from the book or whether I just made it up myself or a combination. But I always say, stop planning, start doing. Like, that's my little thing. Because I catch myself like in that planning, what would you call that? Like planning paralyzation. Where you just like, you never really do it because you just spend so much time planning it. And I can be very guilty of that. So I try to remind myself by saying, stop planning, start doing. It's really when I started doing this, because like you could spend all your time saying, all right, what kind of camera do I need? What kind of mic do I need? Blah, 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 blah. You just keep going. But I was just like, nah, I'm just going to do it and see what happens. And learn as you go. But that was one of the ideas he had in the book toward the end. I think he said, instead of, don't plan so much, start practicing. His word was practicing. I guess that sounds a little nicer, but I do doing. I always say mine has more of a Home Depot sound to it. But yeah, he said less planning, more practicing. So get out there and do it. That was one of the later chapters in the book. The whole book is pretty good. I highly recommend it. It's Atomic Habits. I forget the guy's James something, I think is his name. I'm never very good at remembering authors' names. And then this morning I was listening to somebody was interviewing a guy named Brian something. I'm really good. I'm absolutely no help when it comes to researching the stuff that I'm talking about. But anyway, there's this guy named Brian something, and he's really into, I think he's in his 40s. And he's like one of these people who's trying to biohack himself into being like younger than he really biologically is. I mean, than he is, than his true age is, his chronological age. So his big thing that he was talking about was sleep, which is kind of funny because it's been on my mind lately. But he was saying, set a bedtime, stick to it. That's like the most important thing for your health, is because it kind of blends into everything else. If you don't get enough sleep, then you're not going to be motivated to work out. You're not going to eat right. You're going to, because you tend to have less willpower if you're tired. And I agree with that. I've always believed that if you really want to get something done, you got to do it early in the day, because by the time you start to get toward the end of the day, it's like you just want to chill out. I've never been a person that can like start a project in the late afternoon or evening. But I can't say I didn't really feel super enthused listening to him. I don't know why. He had some good ideas, but how sometimes you listen to somebody, it's like, it sounds like he's focused his whole life on trying to be, he thinks, I think he said he's chronologically, 42 or something, but biologically he's like 18. That's what he said. I'm like, that sounds great. Like, how do you really prove or disprove that? But that's what he said. So he measures everything. And I do think that it's good to measure things. So I weigh myself every day. And stuff, and I track stuff. But this guy was, he said he eats 2,250 calories a day. Now, if you know that number, you're spending a lot of time tracking your food. Let me tell you that. And I've tried tracking my food just because I thought it was kind of an interesting thing to do sometimes. But first of all, it really isn't interesting. To me, it wasn't. But it's hard. It's hard to do that. It works if you want to, focus on your diet and try to lose a little bit of weight. If you think you're putting on some weight or something, it's a good way to figure out what you're doing or where you need to make adjustments. But this guy, so he kind of, I don't know. How sometimes you listen to somebody and it's just like, You got to make it a little easier for me than that. It just doesn't sound like fun to me. Now, it is fun to him, so it works for him. If it's not fun, don't do it. That's what I always say. Truthfully. Life is way too short not to have fun. Speaking of fun, this coffee is good. Oh, and when I walked in the bakery this morning, I didn't notice this yesterday. I don't know if they had them out. But they've got these cute little cupcakes. I took a picture. I might put it out on my community page. I don't know why. I just felt like it made me happy when I saw this little cupcake. It's for Groundhog's Day, so it looks like a little groundhog, sort of. I don't know why. I just liked it. I'll post it because I want to. I just feel like it'll make somebody smile. I love coffee. I really do. beams on. See, the car that I just got has automatic high beams, so they go on and off automatically. So, which I think God sent me that car because he was like, all right, you hit a deer, you're paranoid, I'm going to turn you into a legitimate high beam person. So I have a car now that I don't even need to think about it, but I'd have to think about it in the van. And my natural instinct is not to use high beams. I admit it. Starting to make a list of places I want to go, like do little live stream drives. One of them was the Bay Bridge. I want to drive across the Bay Bridge. I don't know. I have to think about whether I want to do the whole trip. Like, do I want to start it shortly after I leave the house and go from like Baltimore to drive through Annapolis, make it a little bit longer. It takes about an hour to drive from where I live to the Bay Bridge, and then it's about another 2 hours once you've crossed the bridge. That's taking you from like middle of Maryland to the Eastern Shore. Once you get to the once you cross the bridge and you're on the Eastern Shore, it takes about another 2 hours to get to the beach. So that could all be part of one long live stream, maybe. I don't know. Depends on when I do it. But we go to the Eastern Shore, we can see the beach. Annapolis, like I was saying, Annapolis is near the Bay Bridge, so that's a little town to ride through. That's our capital. State capital is Annapolis. We also have the Naval Academy there, so you could drive by that. So that's a pretty cool place to see. Oh, and then yesterday I was thinking Fort McHenry. The national anthem came from there. That's where Francis Scott Key was sitting out there in the harbor. I haven't been to Francis Scott Key. Francis Scott Key too. Fort McHenry. I haven't been there since 2012, I think was the last time I was there. I think it was 2012. Because they were celebrating the War of 1812. They had like all these tall ships came into the inner harbor. And I think it was 12. I think that was the celebration I'm thinking of. And Fort McHenry had a air show. Like the Blue Angels were there. That was pretty cool. I was working downtown at that point in time, so I remember when they were practicing, like the Blue Angels were coming through the city. They did it for a couple of days before the show, and they were kind of buzzing around the city for a couple of days. That's pretty neat. Oh, and the other thing I heard the last couple of days is, they're going to have this IndyCar race in Washington. Are they doing that this year or next year? I'm not sure the date when they're doing it. I can't imagine they could be doing it this year. It makes sense because of the whole 250th anniversary, but we had a race. I think we did it 2 years. I went to one of them. Maybe I went to both, but Baltimore did that. We had the Indy cars in Baltimore for a couple of years, and I felt like it took forever for them to get our streets ready. And then it takes them a long time to set it up. I was working downtown for that too. So it just made me think of it. But that's a big deal, because you've got to get the roads, you've got to get the streets pretty good condition. And then when it gets close to the time for the race, then they've got to start doing things like getting the manhole covers secured. Like, all that stuff's got to be perfect, because you can't have anything flying up on those cars when they're riding around. I think it cost Baltimore a lot of money. We did it for one. The year I went, the first year they had it, it was great. It was exciting. They have to have a whole section, an area set up sort of like as the garage. And they had I think that was connected to the convention center. So you kind of walk through the convention center, and they had displays and all that kind of stuff. But then they also had, outside, they had all the cars set up with their garage. All those teams kind of travel around with big buses, big trailers. It's kind of like NASCAR. I'm more of a NASCAR person, but it was fun watching that. Like, I don't know the drivers so much on the Indy side. I don't even really know NASCAR anymore. I was back. If anybody's a NASCAR fan, I originally got into NASCAR around the time Mark Martin was my driver. Followed Mark Martin forever. And his teammates. I like his teammates. Greg Biffle was one of his teammates. Greg just had that plane crash recently. Matt Kenseth. So that would be pretty neat. I don't know when I gotta look. I'm gonna go back and see if I can figure out when that is. Today's Sunday. We're a little bit below half a tank, but I don't think I'm going to stop and get gas today. I think I'll do that tomorrow. I could even do a drive down to Washington. That would be kind of fun. I don't know Washington streets at all, so we could definitely get lost on that trip. But we could do that. Philadelphia is not too far away. That's one thing I like about Maryland. We're pretty close. You can get to all that stuff pretty. They're all day trips. Philly, Washington. You can get to the beach. The beach is better if you stay overnight. It's 3 hours, 3.5 hours to get there. But it definitely is doable. When I was little, we'd go down there for a day. Hang out on the beach and then drive home at night. And the mountains. That's another one that's a few hours away, but oh, I finally listened yesterday. I finally listened to my live stream when I stop at these places to make the deliveries, and I confirmed that you can definitely hear everything that is. It's weird, right? It is kind of weird from the viewer standpoint because I'm not in the van anymore. Like you're sitting in the van looking. Oh, see. This is why I should not be a high beam person. Because it irritates me when people don't put their high beams down, and I just did it to that guy. I'm sorry. I know he can't hear me, but I am sorry. But you can hear pretty well. Like yesterday when I was in Lenny's, and I walked into the back to get the rack and I put our trays on, and I mean there were people like talking in the back. I couldn't understand what they were saying, but I remember hearing that. And you can hear it on the mic. So it's pretty impressive. You can hear pretty far. And this is weird. This is where like weird things happen. Like I was thinking about that mic, and when I looked at you hit home on YouTube and then it comes up with your recommended stuff if you just want to refresh that every now and then to see what might be out there. And I got a short about the, I don't know how you say the name of this microphone. Hollyland or something. It's something weird like that. But anyway, it was an ad for like a different version of a microphone. I think it's like an A something. It was a different model. Very small, still very small. I think it was $150, where this one's like $60. At least I paid $60 for this one. And the one they were that was in this short, they were advertising was $150. But that guy was saying it's, how great it is. And it's like a little disc. It looks like a pin, a very small pin. And it's the same thing, it attaches with a magnet. But he said you could be as far away as 300 meters. 300 meters is like a football field is 100 yards. A meter is a little less than a yard, right? So let's say it's half a yard. That's still like a football field and a half away from the transmitter. That's pretty good, I think. You're going to be that far away. Now you're starting to get to you're outside of the range of Starlink and everything else. I think I finally got past the weird tattoo recommendations. I think YouTube finally figured out that they don't need to be giving me all the... I mean, it wasn't just tattoos. It was all kinds of weird stuff. It was like, circus stuff. Or at the fair, where they'd have the tents with oddities. That is one thing you're going to see an increase in potholes after all this, especially once it starts to warm up again, because like at this point everything is still contracted, but when it starts to expand, we're going to see more holes in the road. I know on Sundays they open at 7. Let's see if they do the door. The song is called Every Breath, brought to you by Infraction. All these milk crates as high as the door. Got the chair over there. Somebody saving their spot. And I don't know what that thing is that's hanging on the door. It looks like, I don't know, it makes me think of like something you do to flies or something. I don't know. Why would you have that hanging outside? It seems like a getting rid of a pest of some sort type of thing, right? I don't know. All right, I'm gonna have to call it. I want to say, remember, the audio will be temporarily interrupted. Sorry for any inconvenience. There we go. Turn that down. What a day, cafe. they just opened the door there. Anyway, I'll be right. Oh, I don't have to say I'll be right back. I'll eventually figure that out. This is the tray when it's empty. Let's load this up. I think we got, how many donuts do we have today? 138 donuts will pass through this establishment today. It was a little windier earlier. Thank goodness the wind has died down a little bit. I was watching this morning, somebody had a live stream going, and they were on the Outer Banks. So what do you say, on or in? On the Outer Banks. And I mean, it looked like a freaking blizzard. It was really, really windy. Snow was blowing across the street. Looked horrible. All right. Here we go. Oh. Now we're loaded up. Check it out. Cinnamon buns. Can you see them? Festive donuts. Going in the kitchen, ladies and gentlemen. Going in the kitchen.
That's not the way to go. So it makes me wonder how they put you in.
Also, generally speaking, if you say you don't have money, it means you don't have money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have money.
Yeah.
What's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Thank you so much.
Pretty good, thank you. How are you feeling today? You better?
Oh, 100%. I left a little early yesterday, and I mean, I can laugh at it now. Yesterday, I thought I was gonna die.
You sounded like you could.
But oh,
Well, something's up.
yeah. Well, I left a little early, and I immediately went to bed. I was like, I'm done. I was dead to the world.
That's
No one
good.
agrees with
You
me.
probably needed it. You needed it.
Have a good one.
All right, see you tomorrow. Have a good one. Boom. That was the girl that went to a rave Friday night. And yesterday she was like, oh my God. It was all dark in there when I went in yesterday. And she was like, I was at a rave last night. Like, I'm not sure. I don't know exactly what that means, but it sounds bad. I mean, not bad, but like something that wouldn't be healthy. All right. Well, delivery's done. So we head back to the bakery. I think this is I'm going to be there for a while today too, helping him out. I think it is my last long day there, like tomorrow. So I will be driving again tomorrow. I've got usually three places. So it's usually a couple hours in the morning, but I think that'll be the first day that I can probably get home by 9, 8 or 9. Get some stuff done. And it's going to be warmer tomorrow. It's Groundhog's Day. Remember that, Groundhog's Day. One day I'll go up there, but I'm only going to go because I think it's drivable, like in a couple, I don't remember exactly how long it would take me to drive there, but I think it's, you know, something you could do in a day. Look, the moon's over there to the left. Pretty clear right now. Some clouds above it. Pretty good view of the moon over there. It looks like after today, the weather I'm talking about, the weather looked like, you know, I think tomorrow's going to be like freezing. I think it's going to be sort of for 5 or 6 days. It's going to be highs right around freezing, maybe a little bit higher than freezing, but nothing crazy. Like it's not going to jump up to 40 or 50 or anything. So if that's the case, I'm kind of hoping that the snow melts slow enough that you don't get the roads all wet. Hopefully it can just like melt, sink into the ground where it is instead of, you know, if it melted fast, I think we can get the roads would get all wet. I don't want that. Oh, that was stupid. I thought I might pretend like you didn't see that. They probably think I'm flashing my high beams for some reason. I thought I had them on. See, I'm not good. I'm a novice at that whole process. What was I going to say? Oh, this is kind of funny. Since we were riding along and it was just a quiet moment, I recently watched Driving Daily's first live stream. Like it was a long time ago, right? The first ever live stream. Was it a live stream or video? Might have just been a video. And I'm thinking it was like 3 years ago, maybe. But it might have been a video. I don't remember which spot I was looking at. It might have been in the video section. And it was the first ever, and it was just driving through the back roads, the country roads in North Carolina. But he didn't say anything the whole ride. And I was like, it just felt weird because, now that watching him, he talks all the time. But because he's got, the chats going and he's stopping, picking up orders and stuff like that. But this was just a ride. And it's a cool ride. I mean, it's a very good ride. But it just felt different because it's just driving. And it wasn't like he didn't have a mic. I mean, there is a mic because you hear like road noises. So he just quietly drove along. I don't know if I could have done that because I talk to myself out loud. I think I've always done that. Or I'd make some kind of, I wouldn't have this kind of, like the kind of conversation I have now, I have it because I realize people could be watching or people could watch. See, that's the other thing. Somebody asked me once, I think it was a family member, it wasn't a YouTube person. Somebody asked, like, if there's nobody watching, do you still talk? And I do. And I feel like it's okay. I justify it because somebody could watch the live stream later, right? So like if I'm riding along and even if nobody's watching, I still sometimes talk because, I'm figuring, okay, in the future somebody could be watching this live stream replay and they'll hear me then. So I'm never really talking to myself as long as I'm recording it and it'll be online, right? I don't know. That's the way I look at it. But in any case, even back in the day when I wasn't filming, I think sometimes I would mumble stuff to myself. I think. Does that make me a total lunatic? Maybe. But I think I did. Or like I'll pass somebody and, somebody does something weird in a driving situation, I say something. But I don't think that happened. He was on kind of like open roads. We didn't have any weird stuff happen on that ride. It's a very quiet ride. Like, I'm wondering if I didn't turn. Like, did I hit a button that doesn't allow chat? Maybe. But maybe people just feel like sitting back and relaxing. Has been a very calm ride. Nothing's going on, but you never know. Like I think I said yesterday, anything could happen. The song is called Hill of Fun. Hill of Fun. We're on the Hill of Fun. Yeah. Hill of Fun. Hill of Fun. Running up the hill. This is by Independence Tunes. Something else. Check this out. Watch this. Watch this. We're gonna get great. Here we go. I'm gonna stop. We're not gonna stop. We're not gonna stop. We're not gonna stop. I saw a live stream a couple days ago, and I don't know if anybody else saw this. It's an AI thing, and it's just a dog. It's like a German Shepherd laying in front of a fireplace, and the fireplace is like, but it's all AI generated. It's just this fake. It's a picture of a dog laying in front of a fireplace. But here's the thing. There were like 3,000 people watching it. Like I clicked on it because I'm like, well, what is this going to be, right? I looked at it. There were 3,000 people watching, and it runs forever. It's not like, it's like a 24/7 thing. I mean, I guess people put it on and then they just have it on in the background. But I'm thinking, that's crazy to me. It's like people that have like you could put a fireplace on your TV and just, it'll look like, I mean, I could see people doing that, but I don't know. But there were 3,000 people currently watching it. That's not how many views it had, like over a period of time, because they were, and I also don't know how they get around, because I thought live streams have a maximum of 12 hours. So I don't know how they're, and I've seen other live streams that are like 24 hours, 7 days, like they keep going. So I don't know how you get to that point. Not that I want to be at that point, but I mean, I only do a couple hours. But I don't know if there's another setting where you have to be at a certain level, or I don't know how that works. But yeah, they go on forever. They have cameras like in some amusement parks that are like that. I've run into a couple that I've seen like that. It's very strange that they're on for 24 hours a day. They keep going. I don't know what the limit is. This thing had been on for days. I mean, I don't remember. I think it said when it started, and it was days ago. I mean, hey, if people want to see it, can't. It seems a little weird to me, but and I personally would rather look at my own dog. But I guess for people that don't have a dog, that would be helpful. I could see myself looking at that on the computer. AJ would walk in the room and be like, hello, right here. And you can touch me. I encourage it. He hit me in the mouth this morning. I mean, not on purpose. He was getting a little excited when we got up, going through the little good morning routine with him. And then I said the word breakfast. And he got all excited. He kind of like jumped up a little bit. And his paw got me in the mouth. You wouldn't have that problem with the fireplace dog. You don't have to feed it either. Don't have to let it out. Starting to look good now that I think about it. Not really. It is quite epic. This is from 331 Music. 331 Music. They're touring the U.S. this summer. For tickets. I looked at the camera. It has a blue tint to it in the camera. I guess it's because it's so white. Is setting to my left and The sun is rising to my right. Cloud cover, even though it looks, they're not heavy clouds, but there's enough. It's like right now we should be seeing the sun in front of us. It's there. It is there, but it's currently covered by some clouds. We're covered by some clouds. The sun's not covered by clouds, it's us. It's our responsibility. Car right on my butt. I just did that because this guy was like riding right on my butt. And I didn't want to hold him up anymore. I thought we were going perfectly. Appropriate speed.
Sean White says, "What's up?"
Hey, good morning. How are you? How are things up in Boston? Are you on the road, or did you just wake up? What are you doing? I am at the end of my delivery journey. I'll get back to the bakery in a minute here. But it's good to see you. Sundays, we just finished that, but the roads are pretty clear. Everything's pretty good down here. I think John's getting slammed or at least the coast is. I didn't see any anybody streaming from like inside, like the middle of North Carolina or South Carolina, but the coast was horrible. The Outer Banks. We made it back. It's our little wall of snow.
Sean White says apparently Raleigh got nothing.
Really? I know it didn't. I mean, it was snowing a little bit yesterday, but they had that gap in between the two storms. It's really weird. Hit that wall. You can't back up further than the curb because it's a wall of snow. All right, guys. Well, that is my deliveries for the day. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 5:15. Right? Monday? Yeah, 5:15 tomorrow. 3 deliveries tomorrow, so it takes a couple hours tomorrow. But, well, Sean, I'm glad you stopped in. I hope you have a good ride out there. Stay warm. Starting to warm up here a little bit. Tomorrow's the real day, though. We're gonna get back up to freezing tomorrow. That'll be nice. It's 10 degrees here now, so we made it. We made it through that spell. But all right, guys, have a great day. I'll chat with you all later. See you online. Bye.